You're not dumb, you're just underprepared. I have a confession to make. I am not as smart as you think I am. In fact, I struggled so much in some of my classes that I had to get tutoring every Saturday for an entire year. When it came to math and science, I'm not gonna lie, I sucked. For some reason, they just never came naturally to me. Like, I slayed in English and fine arts, but when it came to biology, calculus, physics, yeah, I was completely lost. But the reason why I was able to get straight A's from grade 1 all the way to my last year in college is because of one thing, and that is preparation. Everybody used to think that I was just naturally smart in every subject, but actually I just prepared like crazy. So I'm gonna teach you guys my secrets to becoming the ultimate academic weapon that got me into one of the top schools in the country and allowed me to ace every single class I took. Tip number 1, handwrite your notes. I know the look you're giving me right now. Writing notes with pen and paper might seem like an outdated practice, and you might even think it's like a waste of time, but I'm telling you, this is one of the most effective ways to retain information. When you physically write stuff down, the movement from your hand forming the words actually helps your brain remember it more. And before you come at me being all like, oh, but my professor talks too fast, or there's just way too much material, just remember that you don't have to write down every single word. Just jot down the key points so that you can go back and study it later. Guys, I am literally living proof of this. I hand wrote all my notes from high school and college, so if I can do it, you can do it. You just have to be consistent and disciplined. And please, please, please do not try to make your notes look all cute and aesthetic with like colors and highlighters. That just wastes so much time. The only person that is looking at your notes is you, so do not feel pressured to make it look visually pleasing. Just get that stuff on paper and move on. Tip number 2, write down all your deadlines. For every month, write down all of the due dates that you know are going to come up. I like doing this month to month because sometimes planning stuff way too far in advance isn't helpful for me. And most of the time, your teachers won't even know when things are due until right when they assign it. So as soon as you find out about a deadline, write it down in your calendar. This will help you plan your work and study schedule effectively so you can always stay prepared. You can do this online like on Google Calendar, but I would also recommend writing it down on a physical calendar that you can put on your desk. This way you will always be looking at it and remind yourself of what you have coming up. And then you will always stay on track and never miss an assignment or quiz. Tip number 3, figure out your optimal working conditions. The first step to making studying easier for yourself is to know when and how you study the best. For me, I work best in the mornings, but for you, it might be at night. And whenever that optimal time is for you, make it intentional when you're trying to work or study. Do not fall into the trap of half working, half relaxing, because you just never get anything done that way. And also, the reason why cramming the night before an exam never works is because you haven't given your brain enough time to absorb all the information. It hasn't had a chance to form those new connections, so whatever you're trying to cram is not gonna stick. So, plan when you're going to study or work in advance and do it at your optimal time with no distractions. Tip number 4, work in intervals. Once you figure out your best time to study, work in intervals so you stay on track and not lose focus. This is known as the Pomodoro technique that has proven to be extremely effective for completing any task. Basically how it works is that you set a timer for a short period of time, like 25 minutes, and then you work on the task without any distractions for the full duration. Then when the timer rings, take a 5-minute break and repeat the process. By breaking up the work session into chunks, it makes it seem more manageable and allows you to focus for longer periods without burning out. Tip number 5, sleep. Sleep is so important, guys, but I don't think some of you realize how important it is. I remember back in college, the number of hours people slept was almost like a competition. Like whoever slept the least amount was like better or more hardworking, but this standard is so backwards because you should not be proud of how little you sleep. that is not a flex. Your brain and body need time to recover and rest before they're able to take on new things. So if you deprive yourself of that time, you are not operating at your best level, so therefore you will not be producing your best work. So try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night and go to bed early. Guys, not all sleep is the same. Quality of your sleep is affected by the time that you go to bed, even if you get the same number of hours. So if you have trouble falling asleep early, try to limit screen time 1 hour before bed and avoid caffeine throughout the day. I would avoid taking melatonin or any sleep supplement because it can really mess up your hormones, but you can take natural minerals like magnesium that will help calm your mind. Tip number 6, don't be afraid of your teachers. I think a lot of people are scared or intimidated by them, but there is no reason to be. Part of your responsibility as a student is to actually establish a good relationship with your teachers. Because to be honest, you can get a lot from just being on good terms with them. Of course, don't be a teacher's pet, but actually try to make an effort to establish a connection and ask them for help, which means utilize office hours. Office hours are literally set aside by your professor to help you, so take advantage of them. And if you hate your teacher, I'm sorry, but if you want to do well in class, you have to try to work with them. Sometimes I was able to get my final grade rounded up because my teachers just liked me and they saw that I was working hard in class. When your professors see that you're actually putting in effort, they recognize that and they want to help you. Trust me guys, they want you to do well. Like, do you really think your professors plan a whole curriculum, write out lesson plans for the entire year, and grade every single paper just for you to fail? Come on, they want you to succeed, I promise, but you also have to do your part. Just remember that closed mouths don't get fed. Tip number 7, get a tutor or become your own. Listen, y'all, trying to learn everything on your own is just sometimes not possible. But luckily for you, most schools and universities already have tutoring programs in each department that are taught by students who've already taken those classes. So figure out what opportunities are at your school or university and utilize them. And getting a tutor might be a better option for you if you really don't want to do office hours with your teacher. Or you can also just find other ways to help yourself. Turn to the internet. It's honestly the best tutor out there and it literally knows everything. So if you're confused about a particular subject, look up a video of someone explaining it. Sometimes other people use different kinds of analogies or demonstrations that might make it easier for you to understand. There is so much educational content online that can be a supplement to your main academic resources. So take advantage of this digital age that we live in and use them. Tip number 8, stop procrastinating. Seriously. I've heard the old myth of, oh, I work better when I procrastinate because the pressure makes me work harder, blah, 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 blah. Cut the BS, guys. We all know that procrastinating doesn't actually make you work harder. It just forces you to get stuff done in a shorter amount of time. But guess what? School is not the real world. When you become an adult and work at a company, you have hard deadlines for everything, and procrastinating is only gonna get you fired. When you get an actual job, how you work and your performance is closely being observed all the time. So maybe procrastinating works for you now, but when you graduate, you're gonna have a really hard time adjusting to work-life balance and all your responsibilities. So get disciplined and plan for stuff in advance so you don't have to procrastinate and potentially lose your job. Again, none of this is about how smart you are, it's about how you prepare. These are just a few of the tips I have on how to become the ultimate academic weapon that got me straight A's all throughout school, and I still have a ton more. So if you want me to do a part 2, make sure you give this video a like and leave a comment on what your favorite tips are. I hope this was helpful for you and maybe gave you a little more motivation for this school year. Y'all are gonna kill it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.